The Tinga-Tinga Swamp, or the Tinga-Tinga Makubwa, was a large wetland in Kenya that existed until the 20th century. It was created thousands of years ago after Mount Kenya erupted. The lava dammed the Tana River, creating a 2-foot deep marsh with vegetation 8 or even 12 feet high. That is in the imperial system. It spanned it from the banks of the Tana to a junction with the Fiba, forming a sort of 100-acre triangle. The area was home to great herds of African buffalo and eland antelope, who sought refuge in the tall reeds and grasses of the area. The Tinga-Tinga herds spent all their lives in the swamp, rarely moving onto dry ground, and their hooves were described as being long and unworn. This contrasts with the nearby population in the surrounding grassy plains, whose ranges overlap with this herd at the edges of the swamp. According to John T. McCutcheon, elephant trails were also found there, and the area seemed promising for lions. Hyenas were numerous and would sometimes take items from camps, according to A. Barton Hepburn. The less densely vegetated areas appear to have had scattered rocks and pools, as shown in this painting. Large flocks of herons or egrets appear to have surrounded the buffalo, as described by Robert Rockwell in 1934. Rockwell tells in his 1955 autobiography, My Way of Becoming a Hunter, how he risked his life to obtain the diorama's central large and dangerous bull. He and one assistant located the bull, which Rockwell shot. The assistant went for help several miles away. Rockwell was left alone to protect the carcass from hungry lions and hyenas. He built a fire and shot into the air to keep the animals at bay. Later, Rockwell used the skeleton, covering it in clay, to produce a life-size sculpture of the bull. William R. Lee, also on the expedition, made background sketches such as this one, among others. Carl Akeley, who led the expedition, needed specimens for the American Museum of Natural History's biggest project up to that point, a personal pet project for him. In his younger years, he went to the Tinga on other expeditions for that museum and for the Field Museum in Chicago. Martin Johnson, the famed filmmaker, was also in the expedition and briefly spent time in the Tinga as well, but left in part due to arduous conditions and an inability to find buffalo at the time. By this time, the buffalo herds were already declining. Thousands of buffalo dropped to 500, and then to later reports of nearly 100, and then 30. In 1926, Akeley lamented the loss of the wildlife in the Tana region, still teeming with life 14 years earlier. Such was the case for African wildlife across the board at that time. This was why his project, the African Hall, was being made, to preserve what he called Brightest Africa, before it was all gone and lost to history. Eventually, the growth of the surrounding villages encroached on the marsh, developing it for agriculture. Today, neither the marsh nor the vast herds of African buffalo remain in the region. But the African Hall, Akeley's life work, released after his death, continues to immortalize the Tinga, giving a glimpse to future generations of what used to be. In addition, a group from the Tinga is held at the Chicago Field Museum.